Well, I know that somebody said the same thing to me, and they didn't have the data.
Yeah.
One time I was taking it out, and so we should walk inside it and explore.
No, it turns off at 7:30 or something. Way longer than
the
delivered.
embankments, because I thought it was an embankment.
You need
Oh, yeah, no,
photographs
it's
that a lot longer.
pretty big rock. One of those big rocks is my idea.
Well, then.
So you lock them, I just unlock them.
Some teenage, young
You have to do the
teenage
key
boys
fob 3
and
times.
bikes and,
But right now they're on the open and they'll stay open.
I know, I like it.
yeah, and what I decided to, they
Well,
were
you have to set the alarm.
innocent enough of me, and I could do that.
Mhm.
as soon
And then you have 60
as
seconds to do it.
Oh, you can go in there?
I'm depending on how long
Anyway.
you go on that stuff.
But no, it's kind of long, well, I need to see how to.
Not if I'm still here. The janitor does that to me all the time.
It's just a file read, yeah. Oh, that's right.
And,
No, I
you
can
know,
only go to 6
remember,
also.
and natural is not these, you know.
You have
That's
video
why
you want
I
to play?
say natural here.
Try playing it.
Cheap, yeah.
Is it on YouTube? Where is it saved?
Hopefully,
Let's
hopefully
see.
that will flesh out.
Do we have Google?
Yeah. Well, if you're played on that, let me see. Just hit the play thing.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, huh?
Why?
I don't know. It's kind of weird, huh?
I'm thinking about going.
Hey, yeah,
Then I go backwards, then I go forwards, and then I go backwards.
that's weird, huh?
That is a little wacky. It's funnier with the bike rider.
You want me to close this and try it again?
Yeah.
Um,
What's it loaded from? Is it on the network?
yeah, it's on the network here.
Yeah. You took it that way. So it's saved that in that format that way. Who made that for you?
No, it was fine over here, over at ours. It was fine.
Sure.
Where's
Oh,
Google?
it's because it's 100. It might be because it's such a gigantic file. It's 100 megs.
Yeah. Where's Google?
The little Chrome back. No, one more. Yeah, that one.
That's,
And then just type in Google. Use Chrome. Use this one. Use this one.
I mean, Google Maps.
Oh, there it is.
The area, you know, the area.
You just hit this one.
Okay, we ready? Okay, and this will be videotaped, so if you use your microphone and buttons if you talk. Okay, the agenda, I have 3 things I want to discuss. Cold Creek Drive, origin destination study, rectangular rapid flashing beacons at the 88th Rock Creek Roundabout, and we'll report on DDI accidents. We always start with items from agenda, not on the agenda, from the public. Not yet? Okay.
Well, we're already ahead of schedule.
All right, yeah. So,
Come up with something.
That's okay.
as you recall, last meeting, we presented this data on Cold Creek Drive. These are average daily volumes taken at different years and on different segments. So the McCaslin First Avenue segment, you can see the traffic volume increased to 2210 in 2016. We had an anomaly in 2015 where that from first to second went down, but went back up. So the 14 and 16 are consistent. So I presented this data at the last meeting, and there were some comments from the TSC about, well, we want to know where this traffic's coming and going to. So what we did was we mounted cameras up by second, I believe. So This camera's mounted up on the light poles, looking in each direction, and this is kind of funny because of the. it's
Which
such a big
direction
files.
is it looking at? It's going into Original Town, right?
Right, so let me just stop it. So from here, we're at about Second, and we're looking towards McCaslin. So McCaslin's up here. And then we turn the other way, and we look from Second down to 76 is
Right.
up there.
Okay.
So we could, we had this for about a week up there, and then we can pick particular periods in time and then watch the vehicles, and we had a DVR recording of some of these, so we can watch them going, and we recorded the vehicles, where they started and where they went. So I'm going to present that data now to you. So that's all these next few tables. Back to that. So this is what's called an origin destination table. So this is in the westbound direction, and starting from McCaslin, we had 5 vehicles that came from McCaslin and turned into Town Hall. We had 37 that turned into First. So if you think about that, these are probably vehicles that may want to go to Conoco that can't get there without making a left turn at Marshall, so they turn at Coal Creek Drive, they go up First and go into Conoco. I mean, that may be most of those. These 5 vehicles went to Second, 1 vehicle went to Third, and then the red boxes are the ones that I kind of identified as cut-through traffic. That these are traffic vehicles that start McCaslin, they go up Fourth, so maybe they're going to the marketplace. And the 76th Street ones, those are the cut-through traffic. These may be ones that go into Boulder, they're cutting through Coal Creek, and they end up at 76th, although when they got to 76, they could have continue on Coal Creek Drive, or they could have went on 76. So those 2 are what I identified as cut-through traffic. There could be other ones that you may want to think are other ones. The other ones here, so from First, these are all these, start on McCaslin and end up at First, start on McCaslin, start at First, end up at Second. So these are other ones that are really internal traffic that's in Original Superior, and they go in various directions. And usually they start somewhere, and they may end up in McCaslin, they may end up at Fourth. That's not really cut-through traffic, but they're just using Coal Creek Drive to go where they want to go. So I had a number of tables and I'll just page through these pretty quick. That's the 8 to 9:30 time period that we recorded.
Alex, can I ask a question about the McCaslin to First? So you're saying that you think most of that is going to Conoco. What about to the Chamber building and maybe seeing the
That could be.
inspector's
Right.
office and applications and staff traffic that park in the back? Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think it's broken down. I think it's in both directions, so it could
Okay.
be both. But we lumped them all. We probably have that broken down somewhere, but this was an easy way for us to summarize the data. That's the 12 to 1 time period, and the traffic was recorded back in the end of May. And that's the 4:30 that's kind of the evening peak time. That's westbound, and then eastbound goes the other way. So you're coming from 76th, and this is the traffic. We saw a traffic car coming from 76, ended up going to McCaslin. So that would be a cut-through vehicle. This was from Fourth that ended up in McCaslin. So kind of the reverse direction. I'll give you a graphic that kind of summarizes this. That's 12 to 1, 4:30 to 5. So we lumped all those, and we tried to give you some percentages. So we had, for the 3 time periods, we summed all those time periods. Okay, so this is in the eastbound direction. So this yellow, thin yellow line is the cut-through traffic that came from this point, either from 76 or from Coal Creek, traveled all the way through Coal Creek and got on McCaslin. Could have gone that way, this way. So that was 15 trips. The white are trips coming from Fourth, coming from that part of Fourth, not this part, that part, and ending up going to McCaslin. That was 32 trips, and the rest were trips that were coming from other locations in town. So we have about 80% would be internal trips in the eastbound direction, 6% up to 76, 14% to Fourth.
And what about construction traffic going to and from Remington? Is that all included in this? And are you
Well,
able to?
it would be these trips.
Right.
That's all good, yeah.
So what's that total?
Well, that's-
It's just aggregated, it's not separate.
Well, it
So
would
you
be,
can't-
it would be here. It would be in these figures here.
So, okay.
6 to 8.
6?
But the bottom line is that those shouldn't be there, going through there. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Well, they're starting there. I mean, they could be people who live there, but we recorded the trips coming out of 6.
He means,
No,
Oh, no, I'm talking about the
Construction.
construction, the construction there,
But to and from there. I mean,
I think that's a different issue than we're analyzing here right now, because you did not pull out how many of any trips were construction trucks or anything like
Right, I mean,
that.
yeah, that's a separate issue.
We have the DVR to go back and look at it.
Yeah, you could,
We
yeah.
just want to,
Yeah.
here's one breakdown.
Right.
And present, here's the data.
Right.
Tell me
Right,
if you
right,
want
right.
us to go back and look at other data.
If we can evaluate it all at the same time, I think it's worthwhile to do that, because that's also an issue at hand right now. So I think
But when
it's
was this
perfectly
done?
fine.
May?
This was end of May.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are two separate issues. I mean, the construction traffic to me is an
Yeah.
issue of enforcement. They shouldn't be
Well,
here, they should go
and-
around. That's the bottom line. We keep talking about it, but nobody's getting any tickets. Remington says they're looking into it, and it just isn't happening. But they have a different way to get there. I know it's a little bit longer, but.
right. But the point is, this traffic study may or may not capture it. This may have been a time when there wasn't a need for a lot of construction trucks or whatever, and it seems like currently, something's happened that there, and I think Matt's sort of explained that this week, some of the problems have been because of a new contractor or something like
Landscape
that, who's
contractor
not
moved in.
enforcing
Right.
and whatever. So anyway,
So this is in the westbound direction, and this has a little bit more cut-through traffic. 29% are going up to Fourth, 7% end up at 76th, and 64% versus 80% are internal trips. And I think,
so those do add to 100. So you actually tried to put the whole population into 3 categories, local to
Right.
76 or to 40.
right, and we could put them
Okay.
into other categories if you
Right,
want
right.
to. Try, like, is this cut-through traffic, for example, going first?
Right.
Things like that. So
Gotcha.
we have that capability. I think what we wanted to do, if we make any measures like closing streets or putting
Right.
traffic calming, what is it going to affect? Is it going to affect the overall traffic if the percentage of cut-through is if it was 60 or 70%, it might have a big impact if we close a segment, you know. So I think when I talk to you later, you wanted some data, and then I presented some data, you wanted some more of
So
this.
tell me, how many days did you do this?
This was, I mean, the camera's up for about a week, but what we had to do is to look at periods of time, and it takes quite a bit of time to do this because you're going back and forth to try to track that vehicle going from one point to another point.
And so I see the 24th, was that Memorial Day weekend, or how did it relate to Memorial Day?
It was the last week in May. It was probably the week before, like, you know, Tuesday through Thursday before.
It went up before the Memorial. It went up the Friday before the Memorial came down. So there's no weekend traffic on here
Yeah, this is all weekday.
either. Right.
There is no weekend
There's
traffic,
no weekend traffic. It-
okay?
Is weekend traffic better or worse? Worse.
Yeah.
Lot of-
Going to the shopping center.
A lot of shopping trips.
So this is the type of data we can collect for you. I mean, we could put the cameras back up on the weekend if you'd like.
Yeah, I find it helpful. How about that, blowing the stop sign at Fourth? Did you monitor for how many people stop there and don't?
Not in this study, we did in another study, so.
Okay.
And I can pull that data up if you want to.
No, keep with your presentation.
Okay. So I just want to present the data to you. I think you were looking for origin destination data, and this is the type of thing we can do. And if we want to do it on weekends, we can do it on weekends as well to try to track that, to see what's going on.
It'd be nice to see on the
We
weekends,
we may,
what
you know,
the increase is
if you
based.
want to wait till next spring when all the construction's over, and then, you know, look at, we can do that as well. So it's a type of data we can collect.
Okay, so you have all these other tables. Were you going to review them?
Hmm?
Or do they tell us the same thing that you've already told us?
Well, all these are just different time periods,
Okay.
and that, those graphics just summarize those into,
Okay, yeah, I don't need to go through the details.
So, but you draw the same conclusion from the other time periods, that the conclusions you draw during the time periods, does it all suggest that 4th is cut through? 76 tends to be cut through?
well, it's the percentage of traffic that's using the whole length of Coal Creek, you know, that doesn't have a destination in there, 7% or so, and that was what we summarized. 4th Street was a little higher, 29%. It's probably a little different for each time period, and I can get those calculations if you wanted. We just lumped them all into one percentage.
I mean, at some point, we need to do that when the construction's finished, then all the people have moved in and see what the actual
Right.
traffic looks like.
Right.
Right.
But I think what this could, data, if we want to, I mean, there's been suggestions about not having Coal Creek Drive go through, put a, you know, a discontinuity in there. And by doing that, we can use this data to determine what's going to happen and where that traffic might
No,
go.
this is good. This,
So,
to have a baseline.
So Sandy, I guess you asked the question.
It's a whole policy issue. It's, you know, it's a policy issue as to, do we redirect traffic? Do we try to manage certain traffic in a certain fashion, that kind of thing? So it's a policy issue. And we have the same issue on 88, you know, cut through to get to Monarch. And we're going to have it on Coal Creek Drive if it ever connects through over by you. You know, so wherever, and, you know, and certainly we may have it on the Rogers Farm development, depending on what happens with that Second Street thing.
But there's such a thing as driver behavior change. I mean, I've noticed, like, through Weldona, people are actually beginning to stop at those two stoplights.
Yeah.
Even, they're
Because we
going-
have some enforcement?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it
People are
hurts,
stopping.
it hurts if they don't.
Right, so,
Yeah.
you know,
And that's my point with the traffic cops, is there are lots of other places to be than at Rock Creek Circle and Colton
No, I know.
Parkway. There are lots of places, like right at Daryl's corner. So Daryl, have you analyzed this data? Do you?
No, she just got it.
Okay, yeah,
Daryl?
okay.
Oh, thank you. No. I just analyze it every day,
You feel it?
live it every day.
Okay. It is very helpful, I have to say, but having played a lot with statistics, it's not a big enough sample set. And missing the weekend is pretty critical because intuitively I have to agree that shopping, and if you're having cut through traffic to the marketplace during the week, you're probably having a lot more during the weekend.
I would do weekend and when the construction is done and
Right.
everybody has moved in to get an actual, to see what the impact is then.
Right. Well, and I think the board's going to have to tackle this this sort of policy question. You know, that goes sort of beyond us. But
We can recommend that.
yeah, I need to full disclosure, I live on a busy street. I mean, I live on a cul-de-sac right off a busy street. So that's what I live with all the time. And we did slow it down because of the school traffic around there. We slowed it down, but we didn't redirect it. So I grew up on a busy street, you know, so I'm used to busy streets.
But this wasn't a busy street.
Yeah, it's a question
It
of,
wasn't a busy
but it's a question of growth, you know.
I
Yeah,
understand,
yeah.
but the comprehensive plan is very clear that cut-through traffic should not be going through there to the marketplace. The language is clear that that's not supposed to happen, and you can see the data.
And that's in the comp plan.
It's in the comp
Yeah.
plan.
The biggest issue for me right now for like the immediate next of 6 months or whatever until this is done, no more construction traffic through here. I mean, I'm frustrated, I feel your frustration, the promises are the same, new contractor, new subcontractor, new this, new that. Really, Remington, it's their deal, they need to tell all the contractors, if you go through, you're gonna get a ticket, and we will issue the ticket.
Let's
So-
ticket Remington.
But I mean, at some point, to say, it's like, okay, because if this comes up, you know, I feel for you, I get tired of hearing from you, but I know how frustrated you are, and I thought to myself, if I lived like that, I would be going crazy too.
There's no penalty to Remington. You know,
Well, there can be.
at some point, if the developer is held responsible for the problem, they're more likely to solve
In
the
the
problem.
end, are they not responsible for their product?
Well, that's why their problem, yeah.
Well, And I like Remington, I think they're great people, but
Right.
they need to monitor that more, or we need to do something
Maybe
about
it
it.
needs to hurt for Remington. I don't know legally if there is a recourse
I don't
there.
either.
But if it hurts for Remington, they're more likely to make their subcontractors toe the line.
We need to ask Matt that, if there's anything legally we can do about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Well, we have Reggie out there, watching things. He did find a cement truck go through. He followed him, got his license plate number, and we're going to we're going to get him.
What does he get? When you say that, what does that mean?
So a cement truck go through,
No, but what is Reggie
What-
going to give him, though? A ticket?
no, he got the evidence that he went through. He
And?
got his license plate,
Okay.
so he can track him down, and they can give him a ticket.
Okay, that's what I mean. So how much is the ticket?
Well, I don't know, it's probably $100. I don't know what the
Okay,
fines
but
are.
when you start issuing tickets, I think at some point, that's good. I mean, you give
Mhm.
3 or 4 tickets in the course of 3 or 4 days, that will get their attention.
Right.
What's Reggie's schedule now? He's just 3 days a week? We bump it to 3 days from 2 or something?
Yeah.
And then Daryl, what are the hours that there's that most of the truck traffic that goes
It
down there?
really, it varies. I mean, sometimes it is more in the morning. I would tell you that the concrete trucks are the absolute worst.
Really?
The loudest and the most obnoxious, and half the time they end up going the wrong place, and they go down my street, turn around, come back up my street. The other concrete truck that went through tried to turn around, so he's backing up in the middle of the street, making his beeping noises. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I
Those
don't like it on my
guys are
street.
absolute worst.
Yeah. The problem, they have their GPS, they plug in the address, and they
Right.
get,
They get close enough, but not exactly to.
well, and then they get sent, that's what the GPS is telling them to go, and they think, draw.
Right, exactly. I mean, I do understand that, but
I think we need 3 or 4 tickets in a row,
Yeah.
and you'll get the message.
It seems like if we posted him out at certain hours of the day, right here at Town Hall.
It's not a good use of his time. I mean, you can sit out there for hours without one going through, or a day without one going through. I mean, it really is that they need to be policing themselves and doing the right thing.
I agree with
As
you, but
frustrating
they
as
haven't
it
so
is for
far.
me, I don't think it's a good use of his time. I really don't. I mean, I don't know how you balance that, but.
Yeah, I just don't know how else you do it, because Remington knows they're not supposed to come down. I can't imagine
More
it's that
pressure
difficult,
on
though,
Remington.
because there's not like 500 different companies that are doing it. There's a
No.
certain number of companies that have dispatch that send their
Right.
trucks down here. So if it's a handful of companies, it seems like it'd be
It's not
easy
that
enough to
many.
let them know.
Let's
that
try a
they can't.
different tactic. You're a psychologist, psychiatrist. Can we, at the next board meeting, ask a representative of Remington to
Yes.
come? So that he has to face us.
As a board, yeah, I
And
agree.
we say, why is this still a
Read
problem?
Yes.
And you bring your cronies, and we ask them, and if they're on the hot seat,
That's the
maybe
way to
they'll.
do it.
okay.
Public pressure, you know, we have a good relation with Remington, but it's time to dress them
Right.
down a little bit.
And Remington's going to be in the town center.
Well, I know, that's the
building,
leverage.
Right?
Yeah, it's like-
And so maybe we start a policy that these builders, before they start building, have to appear before us, and they have to tell us what plan they have to control construction traffic, and we require them to appear periodically, so there's accountability.
Why can't
The
you
difference
go-
is in there's nobody there living now, so that's not an issue
Right.
over there.
Yeah.
Here's the issue.
But there is on Rogers Farm, you know.
There still may be accountability over the weekend, because trust me, I can hear the construction traffic there at my house.
Can you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's a start.
Okay.
And let's throw
I'll-
this resolution in their hands, saying, we have zero tolerance. What are you going to do to make it happen? Invite them and have them already assigned to address that issue, so they're
Know
ready
what to
to talk
expect.
to us, yeah.
Why can't you have them bring their subcontractors in too, that are
If that's what
the
they.
trucking companies?
Yeah, tell them
I mean, we could, but-
tell them why they're appearing, tell them we're unhappy, this has gone on for several years, it's still a problem, and we need to see them and whoever's causing
we're
the
at our
problem in
limit,
front of
yeah.
us.
I agree.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
I'll get with Matt and
Let's
try to
move
get
on
him.
to this, because this was
Okay.
important to me, to the next one.
Okay.
So the 88th roundabout by Rock Creek is a big,
Okay, so
if we can
on
move to
that,
Right.
you've seen the rectangular rapid flashing beacons. We put some on the Rock Creek ped crossings,
Mhm.
and they're user-actuated amber LEDs that, supplement the warning signs out there. They're useful for mid-block and unsignalized intersections like we've used them for. And I don't know if you recently saw, we put one on 88th near Shamrock.
So these two emails are exactly right. I've observed this
Mhm.
every single day. This is totally true, what they're saying.
So,
So-
Which emails? Did you print them out?
You gotta move it there, but they're exactly right. It's not an exaggeration. It happens every day. People that are coming, I guess, westbound on Rock Creek and turn northbound on 88, don't stop for anybody.
right.
Not pedestrians, not bikes, not other cars that are already in the roundabout.
They
Coming
just
down
zip-
Rock Creek, who wanna go, turn left and go towards the 88.
Mhm.
And I've had 3 near misses this week alone. They don't even stop until either they don't understand, or they're stupid, or arrogant. I'm not sure what the deal is, and I've had car. If I had a bike, or if it was my kid on a stroller or whatever, a pedestrian, it's so scary to do.
So explain to me the problem. I don't go to Monarch, not sure.
Okay, so let's say you're coming, let's say from Safeway, and you're coming up Rock Creek, and then you turn right on 88.
Mhm. Towards Monarch.
Exactly. Those cars never stop for anybody.
Coming out of the roundabout.
Yes, they
Right.
enter the roundabout, you turn right. They never stop for anybody. So if there's a pedestrian that crosses, or a bicyclist.
That
or
crosses
stop-
Rock Creek.
Right, on 88.
So is
you know,
it
it's-
this,
Right.
this movement here?
Yep, that's
It's
the
this
one.
crosswalk?
Yep. So what I'm saying to you, and I come down Rock Creek Parkway, you go, to the right of the roundabout and then to the left to get on 88. Once you enter the roundabout, you have the right of
That's
way.
right.
Those guys are coming up, they don't stop, they're like, right in front of
And
you.
where is the crosswalk? Is it right there?
Crosswalk is right where the arrow is.
Should it be further in?
No, so what happens, the entry, as you enter the roundabout, you're slowing down, you're going to yield.
Right.
So that usually is not that big an issue. It's really the exiting.
Right.
Where you're accelerating coming out.
That's right.
And you've just been through a complex roundabout, so you don't expect the pedestrian to be here. So It's this accelerating out, this right turn coming out.
That's the one.
So should this thing, rather than being right there, should it be up?
Well, the
So-
problem is if you go farther out, then you're getting higher speeds, because now you've come up and you're accelerating up to 35
Well-
or 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Can you be sure of that?
Yeah.
And the reason
Yeah.
why is when I do that roundabout, sometimes it's a racetrack in there, and I exit it very fast to just get out of the racetrack,
Mhm.
and I might be inclined to slow down the more I'm out of it.
Where would these go if you had, they would be on Rock Creek Parkway, where exactly would you put these?
We would put them right at the crosswalk. So there would be, for this, the traffic going northbound.
Would they
One
be
on each
visible
side.
though?
Hmm?
Do you think they're visible as you turn right towards 88? Would they be able to see them?
Right, okay, so you're getting ahead of me now.
All right, sorry.
Okay, so I want to explain things. So we've seen that the rapid flashing have been effective at slowing speeds and getting compliance with, sorry. Go back, here we go to,
You have a picture of one?
don't have a picture, but they've been slow. Here's where we have now existing RFBs, and that's where we're proposing. So coincidentally, this study just came out, the evaluation of RFBs at multi-lane roundabouts. So this is an issue that the multi-lane approaches have been an issue for ADA and especially blind people, because blind people come up to a roundabout approach. If it's single lane, it's not too bad because they can hear that vehicle in the lane. It's the multi-lane effect when there's another vehicle on the inside that they can't quite sure if there's one there or not. So it's been very, not controversial, but there's been, the ADA community wants some measures to put into multi-lane approaches, two-lane approaches. And so do you put traffic signals? Do you put hawk signals? Do you do other types of approaches? So this study was to evaluate the RRFBs as a potential measure for those people, the blind people and other ADA-type people to cross multi-lane approaches. And I've been looking for, well, we could put RRFBs, but has anybody tried them? So they looked at 7 roundabouts where they installed RRFBs and tried to do an evaluation. And, you know, whether they worked. What this didn't study is how does it affect traffic? You know, is it effective in terms of, does it make it more confusing? I don't have any conclusions here. This did conclude that it was probably a good, effective measure in this particular application for those blind people, that it gives them an added sense of protection, and especially if you put the audio to tell them when to walk. So they found it was good for that particular approach. Another piece of data they had was, are they effective? Are more people yielding with the RRFBs? And here's one where the black is the RRFB on, and this is off. So in that case, it wasn't effective. More people stopped when it was off than when it was on. That was only one case. Most of these, the black bars are higher than the hatch bars.
There's one other one,
Yeah, there's one other one.
Pioneer South Entry, all right?
Yeah, this one here.
That one, yeah.
So this is an interesting piece of information. Are they going to do anything? So I wanted to let you know.
But for the other ones, for the most part, I mean, there's some of them
Right.
significant
Right.
change.
So I think it's a good thing to try at that particular approach. But I wanted to let you know what the costs are. It's about $14,000 to do both entry and exits, to do the RFBs. And if we do it here, and then we're going to come back, people are going to say, why don't you do it at all the approaches on the roundabouts? So I just wanted to give you potential if we end up putting this one in, and then we're going to say, yeah, it works, and everybody else wants one, so it could be as much as
But the other ones
$100,000.
don't have the blindness, the
Right.
blind.
Right, so we can say, well, this
It's a
is
unique
okay. And I
situation.
think the other one where we might want to do it is as Colton and McCaslin on the southbound leg, and, as you're crossing over crossing McCaslin and going to the trailhead. that one would be a good one to put as well.
Crossing the
So going down this way.
That's not the place.
No, I don't think that's
You know,
it.
here's the commonality as I think about this. Go back to that map you had up of the roundabout right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because this is what's happening down at Colton. I'm coming towards the Colton trailhead from.
He might be able to actually show it.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
this
yeah,
way.
yeah, okay. And this is the commonality.
right.
So of course, I live down here, you know, I come up here, come around, and I'm here, right? I am always trying to go this way. I rarely, you know, go around and go that way. So that's my movement, right? Like tonight, coming to the meeting. You're sitting here, and whether or not you can go, you're watching all this traffic, right? You're watching this traffic and you're watching this. Soon as it's clear, you step on the accelerator to go, and if somebody just happens to come up on a bike here, or a pedestrian or whatnot, you're ready to kill him.
So that's a
You could kill
similarity.
him.
That's
And
similar.
that's exactly at the roundabout on 88.
Yeah,
You're
I'm saying-
watching
I'm
all that
saying-
activity to see when you can go, and you got to clear it fast because it's really coming at you. And then you've got you've got pedestrians or bikes crossing. There is going to be a cyclist fatality here because they're so careless. They're coming fast, and they just cut through.
But
And
putting
in
one
both
here,
cases, Alex,
putting one
if
across
we,
this thing.
if you had, it doesn't work as beautifully to have the crosswalk up here. But by that, I've stepped on my accelerator to get out of there. At least I've got the opportunity then to slow down for this particular thing.
But then you're
when
starting and then you're stopping instantly. I
but
don't-
when
I
they're
don't
right
like
on
that.
top of each other, when that need to accelerate is right on top of that crosswalk, the danger occurs. So,
Do the cyclists, though, go on the trail and they don't stop and they don't yield to cars?
oh, it's awful. The
Yeah, but that's
cyclists,
on them, though.
Yeah,
but
that's,
see, the
that's-
cyclists scare you, Chris, because they're on the sidewalk here,
Yeah.
barreling towards
Yeah, but
that.
that's their responsibility.
But they're dead nonetheless. You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but
Uh,
we can't
I
live
don't,
life
when I
that
go
way.
there,
But,
I,
and then this little rest area doesn't even fit the length of a bicycle almost. You know, if they happen to squeeze in there and stop because traffic's now coming here ready to hit them, you'll almost have their rear tire in your
My
bumper or
concern with
whatever.
what Sandy's saying, though, let's say you put it farther north, you start accelerating, and then all of a sudden you have to stop, there's a car right behind you, they're accelerating too because you're accelerating.
But
Then
I
another-
actually,
and they
I
rear-end you.
think you're making a conclusion we have to verify. I can't tell you for sure. Now I'm going to be sensitive to my own behavior. Here in the morning or whenever there's really active, I watch, and then I zoom to clear it. Whether or not I continue to accelerate, I don't believe so. I believe I zoom to clear it, and then I let my foot up off the accelerator.
but the speed
But I'm
limit
gonna
there is
have to watch it.
45, and
Yeah,
going through the
right there
roundabout,
it
it's like
is.
20 or 15 or something like
Yeah.
that. So I would imagine you are still accelerating, because if you're going through the
I-
roundabout
so
from
I-
a dead
yeah,
stop.
So, but that might be the difference, because that's
Well,
45.
take a look next time you do.
And over there's 25. But the reason for this problem, I believe I'm correct on, is you're accelerating to clear. So what do you think these rectangular beacons, what difference would they make if I'm accelerating to clear? Because they're not going to affect that. I still have to accelerate to clear. So
But
where
they're-
would they
they're
be
giving you
placed?
attention that something's
Huh?
there. You know, it's flashing at you.
Yeah, can you go back
Once
to
I
the other
clear-
one?
Yeah, good, let's go back to 88th, which is the,
And can you show, so the first set of lights, where would they be installed?
We would put them right here
Yeah,
because you want to have them stop before the crosswalk.
okay.
So we put 'em-
And that's the only place you put them?
No, we put them here, and then we probably put them over here as well.
Well, what about entering the roundabout coming from Safeway? So if they push a button, can't you have lights flashing just before they get to the roundabout so that they know, maybe it's right where they're going to be stopping. They see flashing, they know there's something coming
I
up.
can research about the placement of these RFBs and maybe talk to some people who have done them, and whether, yeah, you're saying get them back here?
Yeah, like, right, because the staging line is like right here, right? I mean, don't they have to stop right here? So maybe put lights here. Then if they're stopped, they see them flashing, then they know something's going on. They may not know what's going on, but they know something's happening, so they're less likely to bolt through there. Because I understand what Sandy's saying. If there's a lot of traffic coming here and you've got an opening, you're gonna hit the gas.
Yep.
Most of the time, I drive this every morning, take the kids to
Right.
school. Most of the time, people will look. I see them look at me, and if I'm here, they're gonna keep going through.
Absolutely, they do that.
But if I'm about here, then they stop.
Sometimes.
For me, I've not had a problem. So, but I think if you were to put a light there and then a light here, then you're gonna, these people coming through here will see that light. People stopping here or coming up here will see the light here.
I think the light approaching the roundabout is a good idea.
Well, that's something we can experiment. We
Yeah.
can maybe even put two. I mean, the whole concept that we want to try it. And
I think we do want to try it, and I would try it like Chris said.
and again,
Front
the
end.
location of the PED, we can experiment with
I
that.
think that suggestion's a good one, because this here by itself is,
It's after the
Problematic.
fact.
It's almost too late.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
almost
yeah.
too
That's
late.
right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
agree with
that's
that.
why I
Yeah.
said move the crosswalk.
No, let's
to
do it
make
before.
To make it a little bit span. So maybe trying it before is.
Let's try it-
The other
let's
issue
try it
is if you
before.
move it too far, the people that are crossing
Yeah,
there, it's way out of the way.
If you move too far, it's just silly.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I-
okay.
yeah.
But you're gonna do two, one here and then one before, because the people coming this way have to see something. If you have
Well, I'm
just a
going
light
to
here.
put on both for the entry and the exit.
Okay.
Where we
Yeah.
put the lights, we'll experiment. Maybe we put, I don't know, two lights. We'll have to work that out. if
So you
we-
can move them around?
Hmm?
You can move them around?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're all
that's
solar,
pretty cool.
they're solar operated. So where we put them, we have, flexibility. And they're
Let's try
wireless.
that
The
for
push
her.
button is wireless to the light.
Wow.
But you
So-
don't have to drill holes and pour cement to mount the poles and all that?
Well, we have to mount the poles, but I mean, moving a pole is not a difficult thing.
They leave the cement base.
Yeah.
I know this
I'm gonna just-
from history. Anyway, it's okay. You even left the bolts.
So are they still there?
No, they are removed, and I won't say who removed them.
Yeah, let's just try that. I think we need to.
Okay, so I don't have money in my budget this year, and I don't.
There's a budget talk next week. We'll
Right,
see.
I don't have it for next year, so this may be something that,
Well,
We'll
I think it's
discuss.
No,
important.
it's a.
It's not that expensive
It's
that
not.
we can't
14,000.
find some.
So to do those three lights, there, and there, how much would that be? It's 14,000 times three?
no, 14,000 is for the two. for
Oh,
that
so
one year.
21,000 total then.
Why do we need this one up there, the third
Right, if we
one?
need the third one.
People coming this way, there's a traffic. there's
Yeah,
a-
but
they're
they
going-
see
slow
that,
down.
they
slow-
see it.
They don't, I
Yeah.
don't see a problem from
Yeah,
there.
it's
They're actually
before they
pretty good.
enter, so they.
slow down.
yeah.
Yeah, if
They're
you want, I
pretty
mean,
good.
that's an easier one to do.
I don't
We
think you
won't-
need that from there.
I think
right
we
now.
do, if this is a test case, let's do the two
Yeah.
and not the third.
So
Yeah.
14,000, we could come up with 14,000 now. I mean, there's 14,000 somewhere for
You
that.
could sneeze in 14,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 7,000 or 8,000 because it's half of that.
Yeah. Let's just,
I think this is a priority.
Yeah.
I do too.
Okay. Okay, one final thing,
DDI.
DDI. So I know even today we got one that this is so dangerous, so I just wanted to give you some statistics. We track accidents. This is the data that we've been collecting. The sheriff responds to accidents on the interchange. And so we've been collecting this data over the last 5 years.
So McCaslin and Marshall is almost non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, this is a
Wow.
good thing that you've done, because we've done a lot of stuff
I know.
at Marshall
I
McCaslin,
know.
triple left, we've done double lefts and so forth. We've done the protected phases and so forth. So you should feel good about this one, because Marshall McCaslin was averaging 16 accidents a year, and now we've had one in the first 6 months.
So that's because of
Why
putting
is
a
that?
triple left?
Why is that?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's
They-
got to be more than that. I can't.
Well-
Where were most of the accidents? Were they
Well,
coming this
before
way? or-
we had, backups from the lights and stuff, so, traffic would get, pinned down, and you couldn't make that left, and you got stuck there, and there were a lot of things going on.
Okay.
Before, a lot of this earlier data, 11 and 12, we had a single left turn lane,
Mhm.
and at times we had permitted operation. We went to protected operation, means, it's a red light. You don't have a green ball.
Right.
So we did make that change over time, but we made that change probably in 2012. So we're doing better at Marshall McCaslin. And-
It's incredible.
And even
Yeah.
with the triple-let, you expect that it would be more confusing. So, and if you look at the two together, because they interact with each other, that's
Wow, look at that.
the total of both the DEI ramps and Marshall McCaslin.
Okay, pretty
So the
amazing.
first 6 months, there've been 7. We averaged, I think, beforehand, 28. And
So your last thing, you said this includes Marshall and
this
McCaslin?
particular graph.
Yes.
This is
Marshall
the sum of
and
both.
the
So it
interchange,
includes
both.
exit south onto McCaslin, exit off 36 going,
Mhm.
and, okay, it's total.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's anywhere from a third to a fifth of the accidents. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Again, this is 6 months since
I know, but even
2016, but if you double
It's
it.
still like way less than the second lowest, which was.
So I know there's
2012.
been close calls. I've seen close calls, but we're not getting the accidents that you would expect from all these close calls. So I'm still, we want to keep monitoring this, and people maybe were tentative, and now they're getting more aggressive. So this is the data to date. So we'll keep monitoring it, and
That's great news. That's what we had hoped, but it's nice to see it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll keep moving forward on it and see how it, because we just got one today. They had a close call. Now we have this data and say, well,
Yeah.
this is what the data is.
I have close calls in my cul-de-sac. It doesn't mean.
So, that's your last,
So anything else? Items for future meetings?
yeah, so how, any more thought on flashing signals on DDI? How that
Okay,
might be
so
managed?
The real answer there, and
Remember I said at the board meeting how that thunderstorm knocked
Oh,
out the
yeah.
electricity and nobody knew what to do?
the real answer is uninterruptible power supply. And I tried to get that in the DDI, and CDOT says, well, we didn't have it before, so that'll be an add-on, so we would have had to pay for it. But that's something that we'll be doing in the future, put some money in for upgrades for next year's budget. But we need, battery backup that gives us a couple of hours backup, so when the storm hits and we don't have electricity, we have a battery backup that can operate the traffic signals. So that's the answer to that particular issue.
By the way, we had the joint committee meeting this morning with Louisville,
Mhm.
and your Dr. Cog award for the software that
Mhm.
will impact, you got a lot of kudos.
Okay.
at that meeting, just so you know. Just
And
behind your
just
back,
for you to
people are
know,
talking about you.
I did all the work. They were just along for the ride.
I would like,
But the other thing is, we don't have any way of traffic tracking what's going on in the traffic signals. So the software system that we're going to be installing, has all these monitoring things, and, if something happens and goes wrong, I get an email. So I know instantaneously. A lot of times when a detector goes out or something like that happens, I don't find out until someone calls.
Do you get an email or a text?
Whatever, we can set it up
Okay.
either way.
Yeah.
So
You
someone
need it.
gets.
well, we
Yeah.
need to figure
Text
out.
was-
Text, you get it, right? You see it on your phone.
Well, and, Matt's pretty touchy about us communicating directly with you. So when I was in that, I was ready to text you,
Yeah.
Alex, problem, and I thought, well, I better call Matt. And he answered right away. But had he not answered, I would have texted you that was out. But that was weird
Yeah.
because one person, there were 3 queued up, one in each lane, and one went forward. So then the cross-traffic says, well, it's our turn.
Yeah.
And one of those went this way, and there was all this stuttering
I
going.
could see that being such a huge, huge
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, so we
Nightmare.
got to keep those lights operational.
Right, so that was the answer. The software gives us notice. The actual UPS will actually provide time to do the backup during
Right.
the.
And the 2-hour backup, I think, should resolve that, because the storms don't last that long usually.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
The
Yeah.
other thing, Alex, did Matt communicate with you? Because when I saw it about the fourth time, I pulled over and I called Matt right away and said, happened again. People blow those red lights because there's confidence that they're not going to get a ticket. Nobody can give them a ticket because they're right in the thick of the DDI. And so the light is clearly red, and 4 different occasions, somebody
Has
blows
blown
it
it.
in one direction or another. Very, very dangerous, because there is that lag, but they've breached the lag and traffic starts coming, and I don't know why I'm always there when they're blowing them.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it is
but
we
there is
have a
lag
long,
there, so they-
There's a significant.
We have-
lag,
It's
yeah.
a lag, actually.
especially for the southbound direction where the triple right is, we have a 7.5-second all yellow red interval. So it's fairly long because it's a pretty long distance from that crossover to clear the triple right.
But interestingly, I think it's the lag that's given people the confidence to
Absolutely.
blow it.
Yes. No, it's
And-
true.
And I think if you had it, I think 2 things are giving people the confidence. One, where would a policeman be perched to give you a ticket, right? So that seems to me to be resolvable primarily through photo enforcement.
No, I hate
because-
photo enforcement. I'm
Because
completely
you-
against it. That's like,
you-
I think we could
yeah.
There'd be a
unconstitutional.
lawsuit, Elena.
They would
Trust,
be-
trust,
no.
trust me, I hate photo enforcement.
No,
I've
it's-
paid my share of photo things with my husband
I'm
blowing
completely
stuff,
against it.
but anyway.
we'd get a lawsuit.
shouldn't.
I'm not a proponent, but how people are cocky that, well, no cop can give me a
I
ticket
think
right
the
here in the
lag
middle
has
of
more
things.
to do with it, I
And
guess,
then
the
that lag is so
And
long
I think with
that they think they can safely make it.
Is that lag adjustable?
Yeah, yeah. And we
Yeah.
put, we increased it because we were having complaints that the triple right, people on triple right were getting a green and the traffic.
Right.
Yeah,
hadn't cleared.
I wouldn't decrease it because I think you're increasing.
But the other thing we could do, I think with the
Yeah.
software,
You
is
can
that we
adjust it.
have the capability of monitoring how many vehicles, what percentage of vehicles are going through on red. I think we may be able to.
We can monitor that?
Well, with the new software.
Okay, let's
Oh,
do
with the
it.
software. Oh.
Yeah.
When can we implement the software? How,
Yeah,
next
right.
year?
Yeah, as soon as I get notified, I can start the procurement process and get
Okay.
it going. It'll probably be 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I'd like to get some data on that.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention on DDI, so Dr. Cog came through and looked at the timing of the McCaslin corridor from, Marshall down through Dillon up to Via Appia, and made some recommendations on cycle lengths. Right now, we have a 100-second cycle during most of the day. Okay, so DDI means you get maybe 45 seconds of green, you have 2 yellow all red cycles, so that takes 15 seconds out, and then the rest is the other direction. So you may have 45, 50 seconds of green time. They're recommending to go to a 120-second cycle. So when you get stopped up there, you're going to have to wait longer for
2 minutes?
Wow, why?
Oh, I think people are going to.
They're gonna hate that.
So,
I'm-
the other thing, we could probably have traffic flow through better and get a better progression through Marshall McCaslin, through the DDI, and get more vehicles serviced.
Better, I don't see.
It does flow better, but if you make a 2-minute wait,
too long.
that this traffic out here
It's
going
gonna
from
back up.
Marshall to McCaslin is going to be a mess, I would
But,
think.
so,
Then they're going to go down,
So
Daryl
anyway.
House.
Dara loves it, yeah, even more traffic.
I was very reluctant to do this, but I wanted to give it a try, so I'll let you know when it's going, and we'll monitor it and get
Oh, my
feedback.
gosh, I would hate that.
Is that just a suggestion, or is that a plan?
That's a plan. I mean,
It's a plan.
Dr. Cog met with us, we met with Louisville to try to get us together. They showed us the reduction in stops. I think the corridor they were looking at,
2 minutes.
Yeah.
the current timing plan like had 18,000 stops, and you could reduce it to 16,000. They kind of showed in the whole corridor
Yeah, but
that
the
you'd
stops are gonna be so much
So
you'd
longer.
have less stops.
2 minutes on, 2 minutes off?
No. 2 minutes is the whole cycle.
Oh, this whole
The
cycle.
whole cycle.
So what's the increase of waiting time?
Well,
On the red.
In certain legs, it'll be an improvement. Other legs, it's if you get to the tail end of the cycle and you miss that, if you're kind of the last one there,
Right.
and you didn't make it, then you
Then you
got
go
to.
through the red light, and then you
So
don't have
it's
to worry
2
about
minutes
that.
from when the light
That's what
turns
happens.
green at Marshall,
Well,
all the
you
way
never
up to
do
Via
anything. What do you
Appia.
do?
No, no,
You
no,
take
no.
out your cell phone.
Okay, I don't
When
understand.
I had a long wait.
It's,
You look at your phone.
it's the cycle when it goes
That's
through
bad
all the
behavior.
phases
So
at an
it sort of
individual
encourages
intersection.
bad behavior.
Okay.
Only
As
bad
it goes through
behavior
the
if
whole
you're
thing, it takes
not
2
the-
minutes.
Oh,
If you're at the first
So
car,
you're
it's bad
serving
behavior,
the
but you
north
don't
and
see a turn
south,
green if
you're
about
serving
3 or
left
4 cars
turns,
behind. You know,
Well,
you're
you
serving the
see people
throughs
moving.
on the
If you're
side
the first
street.
car, yeah.
all right.
By the way, another thing that came up in the joint meeting this morning is what we talked about on Monday night, the third lane right here, the potential third lane heading towards.
Mhm.
So the Louisville folks were asking, when is that going to happen?
I haven't.
You know, go from 2 lanes to 3 lanes, and
Mhm.
people just can't wait to get to that far right lane.
I haven't put it.
Was that what Rita was talking about at the meeting?
Yes.
No, but they brought it up independent.
I know,
onto
but
this-
it was that blip that you illustrated.
right here, yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
talking about.
He
Which
did-
makes sense, actually. We just have to move that light to make, you know.
And why isn't it part of that construction project on the
It was part of our ultimate plan for the intersection.
secondary gateway?
All right, so right here.
That's right.
So you have that pork shop here,
Mhm.
okay? And we have the bike lane.
Right.
We would need to modify that pork shop,
I know. I mean, we talked about that this
potentially
morning.
move the single pole.
Yes.
So it could be $200,000-$300,000. I can at least get, why don't I try to get a cost estimate for your budget?
Do you mind? Yeah, that would be good for us.
And that was part of the overall plan, but, you know, we, at that point, wanted to get all the other
Why
things
is
done.
Louisville so interested in that on our side?
Huh?
Why is Louisville so interested in us?
Maybe they drive themselves too, and they kind of see how, you know, you punch up, and as soon as you start crossing, you
Are
immediately
they
get to the
interested
right.
in
to
helping
get
pay
on-
for it?
I don't think so. That's on our side.
But Alex, why
makes it-
was that not part of that
I
thing we saw on Monday, that Marshall Road
Because it's brought up
extension? Why wouldn't
times
we
on
choose
their
to
own,
fix
so.
that with that extension project?
Well, the developer's doing this,
Uh-huh.
Right.
and that movement, is that movement serving them? That's a through movement. It doesn't serve the development. I mean, he doesn't need it for his development.
But have we even approached him about
No.
having the work done at
No.
the same time? Are there any economies of scale?
No, not really.
To move that,
Okay.
I don't know.
But, I mean, there's a couple other things, because we have a single pole here. We're going to be putting this double left in, and the single pole here doesn't reach far enough to cover that lane, that southbound lane. So that's, again, not a safety issue, it's just something that we need to think about. Down the road, we probably need to put a new mast on there to get that sign over the left turn lane. So that's another thing. We just didn't do everything with the money we had.
I mean, you're right. I would approach them and ask.
Yeah.
They're doing Marshall anyway.
Would you think that one through about whether or not this has any benefits at all of being involved in that Marshall Road extension?
Mm-hmm.
If there are any ways they overlap, or there could be some economies there, it seems like now's the time.
Time to do it. Mhm.
Yeah, just,
Not that they would pay all of it, but is there something?
Well, I
that
mean-
can offset some of the cost for
well,
us.
yeah, also just disruption, you know? So could I turn the topic to Colton Road? Could you pull that up? This is not on the agenda, but remember at the one board meeting, I said, would traffic and safety look at a potential crosswalk
Colton and?
between Colton and Rock Creek Parkway
No, between Rock Creek, like
by
Circle
the
and-
summit?
Yeah.
Yeah, where kids sort of race across.
Past Indiana or?
Yeah, I'll show you as soon as he's got it. Okay, there's Rock
Is it-
Creek Circle, so there's a light right there,
And
right?
a crosswalk
Right.
too, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and all of this is unsignaled, right? And is that Rock Creek Parkway there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what happens is you pick your poison. There's cut across here.
Pedestrian, you mean?
Adults
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah. So is this too close, Alex, in your opinion, to this crosswalk here? To have a crosswalk here? And,
Do you want a mid-block crosswalk?
Yep.
I mean, I could evaluate it. I mean, where are you going to go? Where's the, I mean, you're going
well,
to go to Safeway or you're
it's,
gonna-
it's logical to do
like-
with an entrance, because otherwise you just got to get on the sidewalk here and walk towards that entrance. So is it too close to have a crosswalk here?
Well, this would be a good place, I guess, because you have a wide enough, you could have a pedestrian refuge here, and then, and this is a shorter distance. The other thing, you have the right turn that you would have to cross as well.
So if you put a crosswalk there, do you have to put flashing lights to notify people that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you'd want to do, put the rapid flashing.
I don't know what I
beacons.
want to do. I just want no kids to get killed there. You
Yeah.
know, they're just distracted and.
So they don't cross at the light,
Yeah.
at either light, you're saying they cross, they just run across.
Some
Yeah,
do.
well,
I
what
see them
happens is they're
cross there,
coming
but-
out from here or something. They're not going to walk all the way this direction, and they're not going to walk all the way
Right.
this direction. They might be compelled, if we had something here, to go that little
Did you grow up in a
distance.
city or the farm?
No, I grew up on a busy intersection. You know,
Okay, so you know how to, I mean, you know.
I know how to do this. If I were a kid, I'd
Ever play
probably.
Frogger?
Yeah, if I were a kid, I'd do just what the kids are doing.
That's right.
I
Well,
would
the other
cut
thing we're
across.
doing, here we've had a request for a crosswalk.
It's so super safe for
Yeah.
everybody, all that, I mean.
You have Safeway and you have Tyler up
Urban Avenue
here.
to run across. Run
So
across.
we're going to put a crosswalk here,
Yeah.
across Rock Creek Parkway.
You have it there.
Hmm?
There's one there.
No,
There isn't?
We're
No, there is.
going to put that, in. I've been waiting because I was going to do it when I reconstructed Rock Creek Parkway.
Well, there's something there.
No, that's it.
No.
Well, that's
There's
over
not.
here.
Where is
Farther
it?
down.
Yeah, the
Up there.
tunnel's
up
By
there.
Honey Lane.
But people from here that want to go to Safeway.
Oh, by Honey Lane,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where do they
That's right.
cross? So we're thinking about putting it somewhere.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Well, would you put it there or put it by Safeway entrance?
Well, we could put it here. It's just a wider area.
And where's the bus stop? It's that blue dot?
Yeah, I think the bus stop's up here.
So
But
what?
the one on this side, there's one right there, the blue dot. So it seems like you want to, if you're going to put another crosswalk, you'd put it by the
Close to
Safeway
the bus.
entrance,
Right.
by the bus stop.
Right.
It's wider, you're saying, though, yeah, it is quite a bit.
So, I mean, when I get ready to do it, I'll get with them and find out what's.
So
the
show us
appropriate
what you
location.
did at Yarrow. Where did you put the crosswalk at Yarrow?
By the way, I drove that, that's beautiful. You did such a nice
But
job.
you didn't did you put signals and stuff at Yarrow?
I just went out of curiosity to see what it.
I don't think you did,
want to
did
see
you?
the pavement?
No, if you-
So
it's
right
hard-
Yeah,
here,
right.
It's hard to see, but there were no painted crosswalks
Anywhere.
anywhere on
That's right.
Rock Creek Circle. So they asked for that, so I did a couple things.
It looks so good.
and I don't think you have to do any more
So we
than
put-
that up here.
We put crosswalks here, and I think over here.
2 of them there, yeah.
2 on each corner. The other thing, we put a little island here,
I love it.
and then we painted a parking lane to kind of narrow the lanes down.
It's
Just
quite a
simple
bit
paint.
narrower, yeah.
Yeah,
It feels,
so-
yeah.
I did it without asking, just.
But you know what? It slowed me down.
Yeah, we've got a lot of.
Yeah, I did wonder, who thought up this? I
No,
didn't.
it did slow me down. It
He
slowed-
said he didn't ask us. That's why we didn't know to expect all that fanciness. So why can you not, it's just simple painted crosswalks, right?
Wait, what's the moral of the story then? Alex should be.
Can we have a simple painted crosswalk here is the moral of my story. Do we have to make it too involved, or can we just
I think
make
if you
it
put a crosswalk
simple
there,
painted
it's just
cross-
after a slight bend. I think you're going to end up,
Should we have
people will
some
ask for
warning
lights and,
Yeah, we don't want lights
Stop
there.
at it.
Yeah, no,
Nobody will, I mean, if you try and cross Sycamore over at Fourth Avenue, nobody stops at that.
even if
crosswalk.
someone's waiting there on the
Oh,
street.
you can stand and wait, I mean, and that's what you do, but they don't stop. I mean, that's a busy road and they
Yeah.
don't know that.
I think you
Yeah,
should
right,
propose a
signal.
treatment and see if anybody else is a taker on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a natural place for crosswalks. You got a 4-way,
And plus the
intersection.
speed limit on Rock Creek Circle is.
Yeah, I mean, this is
25.
35 and this is
Is it 25?
30.
We reduced it, yeah.
I think
Right?
that's
Didn't we
appropriate
make
for
it
that.
20? Is it, what is it? What's the speed limit?
30
30. It was 35, though.
on here.
And we reduced it by 5,
I don't know, it's always been 30, but this is 35.
yeah.
I would recommend, since this is an arterial and it's 4 lanes, that if we do anything, we probably want to do the flashing.
Well, when I walked it out, you know, there is not much distance,
No.
really, here. But again, it's a behavioral thing, and plus having 2 crosswalks there maybe will slow all those speeders down here. What's happening, guys, when you hear me complain, there's a police car perched here constantly.
Yep.
Constantly. And,
Is it that woman?
She's there a lot, but
Yeah.
she's also up on 88th, or
But,
right just before the roundabout.
so she's
on
catching
Parkway.
speeders going this direction, right?
Mhm.
And then she's catching the people who blow the stop sign here. So I never go down Colton Road. I do the back way, da-da-da-da-da, and then I look left and she's there and I'm very careful.
Why don't you just go 35 down Colton?
Well, because as Traffic and Safety has determined, Alex came to Traffic and Safety and said the average speed approaches 45, right? Remember
On
when
one-
you said
on
that?
one leg, yeah.
And he asked us to consider increasing it because that's,
But that road warrants 45.
it warrants 45 and we kept it slower for the safety aspect. And now everybody's getting
I
tickets.
say increase it to 45 again.
It's
Yeah.
just, it's like you say, it's a behavioral change. For me, going down, I've seen so many people get pulled over.
Right.
As soon as I get on Colton, it doesn't go
Right.
over 40. I never go over 40.
Right.
Because the rule of thumb is 5 to 10 miles an hour over the speed
Right,
limit.
right, that's right.
So 40 is the max, and I'm
Well,
always looking at my
So
speedometer.
far, my family's been fortunate, but it's just a question of time, I'm sure. But, and even when Matt put those statistics out, 196 violations, as opposed to like 225 on that whole stretch of Rock Creek Parkway, I'm like, yeah, I think it still proves my point. It's very heavily monitored.
Okay, one of the things I want to bring back, and maybe it's probably for the committee, is 88th Street and the access plan we had for Saharias and the roundabout, to maybe have invite that neighborhood to our next TSC meeting, present that plan and get their input on it.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask a question about that, too? I thought more about it, and I thought I heard in the meeting that we couldn't have a roundabout at, what's the street that comes down?
Waldona.
Waldona and 88th. We couldn't do it there, and I was wondering, why can't we do it there? Because that seems to make sense there, if that's where the backup is for people coming out of there. Because I've been on that when we picked up kids going to school, and sometimes it's really hard getting out of there.
Again, that's what we want to find out, because I felt if we did that, we'd encourage traffic on Waldona. So that's, we could present a couple of options for them and
Yeah.
present, what we think the traffic numbers are going to be and get their feedback on it. Because I think.
Alex, it's been a pleasure, man. I don't know if this is the last one. We might have one before November, maybe, end of October. Something comes
Alex,
up.
did I see this announced on the e-blast?
It was posted on the website.
Okay.
And
I
I asked-
really want to
I asked-
repeat the request that we put it out on an e-blast.
Okay.
Given
Well,
the meeting of this.
This
I asked
committee
and-
meeting has, people have asked
It means
us.
that everything's going good when nobody shows up.
Yeah, right.
if you can bring that up, because I asked to put it out, and they said, no, we don't do it.
Who said?
Martin.
Who?
Martin says we don't do that with other committee meetings.
Who?
Martin.
Yeah, well, I thought we had already gotten
That's
consensus
that's what I thought. I
on
said,
this,
Martin, here,
yeah.
put it on.
I don't think you can ever over-announce any meeting any of us, any subcommittee has. So I,
Hmm?
It turned cold.
Yes. Thanks.